so good to see you again. Oh my goodness, I miss you so much in the art room, but I hope that you're having some fun at home and that you're finding some time to create. So this week, I've been thinking about fairy tales. I don't know about you, but while I've been home, I've been watching a lot of movies with my son, and I've noticed a lot of movies are fairy tales that have castles in them. So I thought it'd be a great idea for you to learn how to make a castle. So today, I'm going to teach you how to draw your very own fairy tale castle. I'm going to show you how to add some details that castles have, and take a look at how this castle is made. Do you recognize any shapes in this castle? What about this castle? Do you recognize any shapes? I see squares, rectangles, triangles, and a castle line. So together, I'm going to show you how to make your very own castle. The supplies you need are crayons, markers, or watercolor paint, a paintbrush and some water, and then of course, a white piece of paper. All right, artists, I cannot wait to see what you create. Don't forget to share your artwork with me on Artsonia. I've been loving seeing all your beautiful masterpieces. All right, get creating. Can't wait to see it, and I miss you. I'll see you soon. Bye, friends. Check out some of these beautiful castles my kindergartners made a few years ago. You're going to be using those shapes and lines that you already know to create yours. So, using white paper, crayons, markers, watercolor paint, a paintbrush, and water, we can start to create our very own fairy tale castle. All right, friends, so let's get started drawing our fairy tale castle. So the first thing I'd like you to do is make sure you have all of your supplies gathered. I have my white piece of paper, I have my crayons, I have my watercolors or my markers, depending on what you want to use, or you could use both like I'm going to do. And you have your water and your paintbrush. So the first thing I'd like you to do is to grab your favorite color, and I'd like you to start to draw a horizontal line at the bottom of your paper. So notice I'm going to leave some space on both sides. So that line is going to look something like this. Notice I have space on both sides and I have space on the bottom. So it's not touching the sides or the bottom. Then I'm going to start here and I'm going to draw a line, but I'm not going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to stop right about there. Then I have to draw the same line on the other side. So it kind of looks like we're trying to draw a square. We just left the roof off of it. So we are going to be creating our towers first. So I'm going to then come across, actually I'm gonna make mine a little bit taller. So I just drew a little bit more of a vertical line. I'm going to draw another horizontal line, but notice how much shorter it is. It's a short horizontal line. And they should be about the same height. If they're a little bit off, that's okay. Make sure your lines are nice and thick, so I like to go over them a couple of times. And now I'm just going to take this line and go all the way down to the bottom with a nice straight vertical lines. These should be all review lines for you. So those are going to be our towers. Now we need to add the tops of our towers, because usually our towers have triangles on top. So notice all the shapes that we're making. We just made two long rectangles. Now we're going to make two triangles. So I'm just going to pick a new color and I'm going to put a triangle on each rectangle. Ta-da! Now I have two rectangles and two triangles. Now let's make a square, and we're gonna make a square right across the middle. So I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna try to find the middle of that rectangle, and I'm going to, I'm gonna go back to my castle color, and I'm gonna draw a horizontal line across my two rectangles, and look what you just created, a square. So now you have two rectangles, 2 triangles, and a square. Now we're going to make the drawbridge of our castle. So a drawbridge is a curved line. It kind of reminds me of half of an oval. So I'm going to bring it up and come back down. Perfect. Now it's starting to really look like a castle. So let's talk about some of our details. We have learned all year about a castle line. It's time to use a castle line on a castle. So in case you can't remember, a castle line goes across, up, across, down. So I'm going to go on top of my square, and I'm going to start by going across, up, across, down, across, up, across, down, across, up, across, down, across, up, across, down, until I get to the other side. I'm gonna go ahead and take a few moments to add some details like windows and flags and patterns and textures to my castle. If I'm going too fast, this would be a great time to pause and go ahead and draw all your details. And when you're finished, join me back here and we'll talk about painting. All right, so now I have my castle made up with lots of shapes and lines. So now it's time to paint. So friends, you can use either your markers or your watercolor paints, just like we've been doing the previous weeks. I want to show you one trick before we get started. If you want to make gray stone, the trick is to use your black paint, but you want to add a lot more water than paint. So I'm going to take my very wet brush. I'm going to just tap it once in my black paint, and when I take it to my paper, it's going to look very black at first, but the more that you spread that color out without adding more paint, the lighter and lighter it will become, and it will look like the color gray. And if you need more water, just go straight into your water bowl without going back into your black paint and spread it out even more. So that is how you would use gray if you were using watercolors. Now, if you have a gray marker, that would work just the same, but that's just a little trick for you. All right, friends, I'm gonna go ahead and take my watercolors and my markers, and I'm gonna finish painting my castle. If you start to notice that your colors are mixing together in areas you don't want them to, it's because your paint is too wet and it's bleeding into a different color. So if you need to stop and start a couple of times until your paint doesn't drip into other areas, that is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and just paint mine all at once. So have fun painting, and I cannot wait to see what it turns out to look like. Okay, artists, now once your beautiful fairy tale castle has dried, go ahead, snap a picture of it, and post it to your Artsonia gallery. I cannot wait to see your beautiful castles.